Don't bother me. Go away. I have no time for you. Don't bother me. Oh, I don't care. Lotus. Oh my, I was sleeping. I fell asleep. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yeah. Stop. Oh, it's editing. That. Did that. Did that. Which I did. Okay, I did that. Option to edit kind. Okay, I did that. Here's what we look like here. Pass the embedded code. Okay, I got that. I did that. Select the box that will adjust white box. Save.
This way. Absolutely. Expect all sides. She just says it's right. If you raise player or person starting to $1,000, first or after the space, if you're shooting your feet, it's always still waiting hall. Or she is chase that either waiting hall and then you take the sunset. First of all, 7 nights. Well, so the time off 2 years. It don't take that to long. So you can develop examples of bills for on the was so it's not very such and something like choose what and we just don't need special. There are so many times can you turn that down, please? Just a little? The TV.
What is this? There you go. Hi there, Rabbi. You're muted.
There we go. Try again.
Hi there, Rabbi.
How are you?
Fine. Hope you are as well.
All right. I can't see anybody else, so
It's all right. I got you covered.
thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. Well, it's 7 o'clock. Shabbat shalom to one and all.
We don't have enough. We don't
Oh.
have enough, folks.
Just you and me. Hello, Roseanne. How are you? Okay. I can't hear you, Roseanne. Well, no, I can't hear anybody. It's really okay. All right. Okay. There's Judy. All right. Well, I do like to start on time, so let's get going. Page 13 in the prayer book. Let's do a little bim bum. Okay. Bim bum, biri biri bum, biri biri bim bum, biri biri bum, biri bum, biri bum, biri biri bum, bum, bim bum, biri biri bum, biri biri bim bum, biri biri bum, biri bum, biri bum, biri biri bum. Whenever I clap for a song, I am reminded of King Charles. He was Prince Charles then, and I certainly wish him refuah shlema. The reason I'm telling the story was because he had the prince's charities. He had this big organization, and people welcomed it and that sort of thing. But there was a video of him at one of the concerts that his charity put on as a fundraiser, and he was standing there, and everybody was clapping to the music. And he was clapping too, but he was totally out of sync. The man has no rhythm whatsoever. Well, again, I wish him well. Let's do the Shalom Aleichem on page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, die, die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Yeah, die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Baruch ni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Melech, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Yon. Melech, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hi. All right. I gave up diet soda. I'm only drinking water. My life has improved immensely. I commend it to all of you. Let's do the English phrases for page 14. Soulmate, loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a darting deer, will I rush to you. Before your glorious presence, humbly will I bow. Let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other dainty will my hunger still. How splendid is your light, illumining the world. My soul is weary, yearning for your love's delight. Please, good God, to heal her, reveal to her your face, the pleasure of your presence, bathed in your grace. She will find strength and healing in your sight. Forever will she serve you, grateful with all her might. Die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, die, die. Die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 yada, die, 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 die. Page 15. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina, Adonai. Naria, naria, bitsuri shenu, bikadmathana bitoda. Noria, naria, Bitsuri Shenu is Mirot Narialo. Hello, good Shabbos. Let's read in the English on page 15. Let's do the whole thing. Let us sing to Adonai. Let us rejoice in our Creator. Let us greet God with thanksgiving, singing psalms of praise. Together, Adonai is the foundation of all life, exalted beyond all that is worshipped. In God's hand rests the world he fashioned. Sea and land, abyss and mountain peak, all are God's. Let us worship Adonai, exalt our Creator, our God. We are the flock guided by God. Help is ours even today, if only we would listen to the divine voice. Harden not your heart in the way of your ancestors, who tried and tested me in the wilderness, even though they had witnessed my miracles. 40 years of contending with that generation led me to say, they are wayward, they care not for my ways. In indignation, therefore, did I vow, never would they reach my land of peace, the land of rest. All right, I've been really getting down on the Dor HaYetziah, the generation of the Exodus. I never have anything good to say about them because, after all, it was the Dor HaMidbar, that is the generation of the wilderness, born in the wilderness, born into freedom, totally loyal to God and to his servant Moses, although they contended to give him a little headache from time to time. But what about the Dor HaYetziah? What about the Exodus generation? Well, as I'm fond of saying about the matriarchs and the patriarchs, if there hadn't been a generation of the Exodus, there wouldn't have been a generation of the wilderness. And it was the generation of the Exodus that decided we're not going to work anymore. We don't want to be slaves. They observed the very first Pesach, the very first Passover, and afterwards they escaped under Moses' leadership. So I'm going to stop ragging on them all the time. There. That's my resolution for almost Shavuot. Okay. There was a chassid who came to his Rebbe, and he said, Rebbe, I have a problem for Shavuot. And the Rebbe said, how can you have a problem with Shavuot? It's a very simple yontif. you pray for dew, and no, you pray for dew on Pesach. Sorry. You pray, you say the Akdamut, which is a medieval poem introducing the Torah to the people. And later on, of course, you eat cheese kreplach. And the Chassid said, that's the problem. Cheese kreplach is my problem. And the Rebbe said, what on earth, what problem could you possibly have with cheese kreplach? And the Chassid said, well, you see, Rebbe, I'm never full after I eat just one. And if I eat two is a bad number. 2 is an evil number. So what should I do to fulfill the mitzvah of eating milchiks on Shavuot, at the same time to fulfill the mitzvah of eating cheese kreplach? Hello. And the Chassid, the Rebbe said, this is what you do. You eat 2 kreplach. No, you eat 1 kreplach, but make sure it's as big as 2. There now. Is that a logical story? I never get a rise out of that story. What can I tell you? It's just one of those stories. Page 16. Here we go. Sing it. Oh, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. That story, by the way, appears in Nathan Ausubel's Treasury of Jewish Folklore. It came out after the war. Maybe I need some new jokes. Any joke that came out in 1945 can't be that funny. Okay, here we go. Sing a new song to Adonai. Acclaim Adonai, all people on earth. Together, sing to Adonai. Proclaim each day God's awesome might. Announce to the world God's glory and wonders. For Adonai is great and deserving of praise. Adonai alone is to be revered as God. All the gods of the nations are nothingness, but Adonai created the heavens. Majesty and might accompany God. Splendor and strength adorn God's sanctuary. Acknowledge Adonai, all families of nations. Acclaim God's majestic power. Acknowledge God's glory and bring him tribute. Worship Adonai in resplendent reverence. Let the earth tremble in God's presence. Declare to the world, Adonai is sovereign. God has steadied the world which stands firm and judges all nations with fairness. Let the heavens rejoice. Let the earth be glad. Let the sea and all it contains exult. Let field and forest sing for joy. Adonai comes to rule the earth, to rule the world justly, the nations with faithfulness. It's clear from this psalm that whoever wrote it believed in a flat earth, because it says God has steadied the world which stands firm. If the world stood firm, it would crash into the sun. The entire solar system would be totally out of whack. However, by the time we get to Columbus, believe it or not, they do believe in a round earth, a spherical sphere. Okay. I'm going to be teaching American Lit next term, and I'm really psyched. Love that stuff. Okay. We continue now on page 19. Adonai malach yirgezu amim, Yoshev kiruvim talut haaretz. That second line says God is enthroned upon the cherubim. And if you recall Michelangelo's famous painting of God creating man, you notice that God is being carried by cherubim. So it's significant that God does not fly, at least in Michelangelo's world. And he has to be carried by cherubim, who Michelangelo depicts as little boys. Okay, let's take it from 4 stanzas from the bottom. Moses, Aaron, and Samuel, God's chosen ones, called out to Adonai, who answered them in a pillar of cloud. They zealously strove to obey the divine law, even when God's decrees were beyond their grasp. You responded to them with compassion, even as you rebuked them for their offenses. Extol Adonai and bow towards God's holy mountain. Adonai, our God, is holy. That's quite a line. You responded to them with compassion, but you rebuked them for their offenses. Well, I suppose a lot of our parents did the same thing. Okay. Let's turn now to page 20. We can sing the whole thing. Mizmor LeDavid, Havul Adonai, v'ne'elim. Havul Adonai, kavod va'oz. Havul Adonai, kivod shemo. Ishtachavu Adonai, behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai, Koach, Kol Adonai, Behadar, Kol Adonai, Shover Arazim, Vaishaber Adonai, Et Arze Halavanon, Vayar Kidem Kimo Egel, Livanon Visirion, Kimo Ven Rehemim, Kol Adonai, Chotzev Lavotesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai, Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yechol Elayalot, Vayechasof Yarot, Uvehechalot, Kulo merkavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech liholam, Adonai hoz liamo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Page 21. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabila. Shamor v'zachor dibur echad, Ishmianu El Hamyuchad, Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad, V'Shem U'Tiferet, V'Lit Ilah, V'Cha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nikabila. Let's turn to page 22. And please rise for the fourth stanza. Boi v'shalom ateret ala, Tam b'simcha uv'tzala, Tochem unei am segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala. Shabbat Nikabila. Mommy is home. Mommy gets a much better welcome than Daddy. Okay. The fact is, I don't call him his daddy. I refer to myself as Dave. I'd rather have a friendly acquaintance than a related one. All right, page 23. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God, together to affirm your love each morning and your faithfulness each night, to the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. How vast your works, Adonai. Your designs are beyond our grasp. The thoughtless cannot comprehend. The foolish cannot fathom this. The wicked may flourish, springing up like grass, but their doom is sealed, for you are supreme forever. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish. All the wicked shall crumble. But me you have greatly exalted. I am anointed with fragrant oil. I have seen the downfall of my foes. I have heard the despair of my attackers. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. They shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon. Plant in the house of Adonai. They will thrive in the courts of our God. They shall bear fruit even in old age. They shall be ever fresh and fragrant. To proclaim Adonai is just. my rock in whom there is no flaw. I had any number of bar bat mitzvah kids who they couldn't say fragrant, they said flagrant. Okay, what does that read? They shall be ever fresh and flagrant. Okay, let's sing the last 4 lines. Tzaddik Atamar Yifrach Yerez Alevanon Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuhovun Veseva Tishenim Virananim Yehu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tsuri Elo Avlatabo. All right, we can put the books aside for the moment. The Torah portion for this Shabbat is Bechukotai. If you walk in my laws, in Bechukotai Telechu, that means, again, if you walk in my laws, everything will be fine. The other thing to remember is that the rabbis like to play around with the different Hebrew words. Frankly, if they couldn't get a good drash out of the Torah portion as it stands, and this Torah portion is fairly cut and dried. If the people of Israel keep God's commandments, they will enjoy material prosperity and dwell securely in their homeland. But he also delivers a harsh rebuke, warning of the exile, persecution, and other evils that will befall them if they abandon their covenant with him. As I've said before, God in the Hebrew Bible, what they call the Old Testament, has a very short fuse. And what I like as the Bible progresses, as the Tanakh goes on, as you get into books like Tehillim, like Psalms, and so on, God seems to mellow a bit. So I much prefer the merciful, caring God than the God who's going to swat you if you get out of line. But laying that aside, the word bechukotai, if you walk in my laws, reminds me that Hebrew has so many words for laws. Torah means law. They used to say that when I was a kid. Nowadays, I guess the rabbis or whomever were concerned with turning off the younger generation because all of a sudden Torah became a teaching. You see, what's the difference between a law and teaching? A law, for example, you don't go through a stop sign. But a teaching, we suggest that you not go through the stop sign, which seems to be the practice in Florida, as we know. Traffic lights are a suggestion. Nothing is really in the legal sense. Well, the word chok, or statute, is derived from the root hakika, which means engraving or carving in stone. That is, your study of Torah should be as though you're engraving in stone, because that way the laws, the teachings are fixed in your mind. What does it mean? Well, in the Jewish sense, in the biblical sense, there are 2 ways of recording your laws. The first is taking a quill, dipping it in ink, and writing on a piece of parchment. That, to this day, is the manner in which we write Sifrei Torah, books of the Torah. And that, according to this Rosh, symbolizes the basic level of Torah learning. The student is the ink, the parchment is the Torah, and they are glued together in a sense, because the parchment becomes one with the ink. But if you look at it closely, and this is significant about the Torah, any Torah, as a matter of fact, if you look closely at the Torah parchment, you will notice it doesn't absorb the ink. The ink sits on top of the parchment. That is why you have to be careful not to scratch the text, because that would render the Torah puzzle. If, for example, you're laning Torah, you're chanting Torah, and you come to a letter which is partially missing. If the outline of the letter is there, that's sufficient. But if it's obliterated to some extent, you're supposed to call up a child in Hebrew school and say to them without prompting, what is that letter? If the child can make out the letter appropriately, then you can go on with the Torah laning. Otherwise, you take the Torah, you put the cover on first, and then you put on the garter, you put on the belt, because with the belt outside the cover, you're showing this Torah is currently puzzle. That doesn't mean treif. It doesn't mean unkosher. There's no way you can make a Torah unkosher, but rather puzzle means it's unfit for reading because not all the letters are there. So when you are reading the Torah, when you are studying Torah for the first time and you're not quite accustomed to it, it means that the ink is sitting on top of the parchment. They are not together. The better level, the way in which you know that your Torah learning is having an effect is that it is carved. This is where we take the chukotai, which means by my laws, and we make it mechukak. That is, it is carved, because when you carve something on stone, there's no way to separate the letters from the stone. The stone itself represents the writing. The writing is imbued in the stone. There is no way to separate them whatsoever. In effect, the student, the scholar, becomes Torah. Torah is totally imbued in him, totally part of him, impossible to get it out as long as he keeps studying Torah. This is what we call a level of self-effacement. This is where the scholar is on such a high madrega ruchanit, that is a spiritual level, that the scholar becomes one with the Torah. This, for example, and this is again, it's imitatio Dei, we're imitating God, but it's not really. It's imitatio Moshe. We are imitating Moses because Moses was capable of reaching such a high level in his Torah study that God, in effect, spoke through him. Of course, this will not happen to an ordinary mortal. Moshe Rabbeinu was on the highest level possible of nivuah, prophecy. And when God gave mitzvot and Moses repeated them, it was as though he himself, I'm not making him into God or anything. We don't deify human beings. But just in a scholarly sense, he knew the Torah perfectly. He had every single verse by heart. He said, for example, I will give you plenty when you are settled in the land. Because again, God's presence, the Shekhinah, the divine presence of God, speaking through Moses' throat and using his voice. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and I hope your Torah study is equally pleasurable. We are so lucky these days. There's stuff on the web. We have books. Yes, you never quite get around to reading all the books. Okay, let's turn to the Baruch Hu. Please rise, page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Voed. Amen. Let's read on the right-hand side of 28, below the line, together. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up, and eons pass away, and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night. The alternation of light and darkness sings your creating word. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, this hour of nightfall. Mavir yom umevi laila, mavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu, Liolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'aravim. Amen. The last two words that we just chanted, blessed are you, God, who evens the evening. It takes the word erev and makes it into a verb, and then afterwards a direct object. All right, continuing now on the bottom of page 29, the right-hand side, your love has embraced us. Here we turn to the fate of our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel. And I don't know if you watch YouTube, but a number of videos have come out. I'm not going to tell you what they're about. They're not happy. At the bottom of the page, together. Your love has embraced us always in wilderness and promised land, in good times and in bad. Night and day your Torah sustains us, reviving the spirit, delighting the heart, informing the soul, opening the eyes, granting us a glimpse of eternity. Because of your love, we shall embrace Torah night and day, in devotion and delight. Beloved are you, Adonai, whose Torah reflects your love. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisroel. Amen. Page 30, we cover the eyes for the Shema. Shema Yisroel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto Liolam Vohed. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes, on your gates. Let's turn now to page 32. Mi chamocha lahelim Adonai, mi kamocha nedor ba'kodesh, noratilot osef ele, malchut arovanecha, bokeayam lifnei Moshe, seli anu v'amru, Adonai imloch liolam voed v'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov u'gialo miad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai goal Yisroel. Amen. Okay. Is the list a text or an email? Email? Yes, well, I don't seem to have it.
Okay, hold on 1 second, I have it.
Sorry about that. Oh, I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah, I sent it to you early
It
today.
is dated, yes, 6:36 a.m.
That's me.
The shank of the morning. I've got it. Thank you very much. All right, let's read the English paragraph. Thank you, Rita.
You're welcome.
Together. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem, and the entire world. I'm going to read the Refuah Shlema list, and if you have someone to add, please keep their name in your mind. Paul Dobbs, Refuah Shlema, Herb Yefsky, Refuah Shlema, Sheila Bergman, Refuah Shlema, Jeff Stern, Refuah Shlema, Marty Mentor, Refuah Shlema, Laura Durant, Refuah Shlema, Elisa Pepper, Refuah Shlema, Rachel Spearer, Refuah Shlema, Vince and Patricia Massey, Refuah Shlema. Okay. And of course, as we have been doing, we think about our brothers and sisters in the state of Israel who are going through a very significant challenge. Very sad. Page 34. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti liolam, oti liolam, oti liolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vaynafash, shavat vaynafash, shavat vaynafash, vishamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat lidorotam berit olam. Please rise for the half Kaddish, page 34. Yit gadal, v'yit kadash, shemei rabba, amen. Yalmad yivrach irutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chai yechon uvyo, v'chon uvchaye, techol beit Yisroel. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'meru, amen. Yehesh me rabba mevorach, liolam, yol mehol maya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, yitpohar, Yitromam v'yitnaseh, yitadar, yitaleh, yitalal, shemei dekudesha, richu, liela, in kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata, v'nechemata, tamiran, v'alema, Imeru. Amen. The Amidah, pages 35b to 38. When you're done, you may be seated. Good time to offer personal petitions to the Almighty. All right, if you haven't finished the, the Amidah, please continue. Otherwise, I'm on page 47. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. And the middle paragraph. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Oel HaGadol Gibor v'Nora El Elyon, Konei Shamayim v'Haaretz, Gen Avot Didvaro, Aye Metim Bimamaro Oel Akadosh Shein Kamohu Ameniach Liamo Biyom Shabbat Kodsho Kivam Ratza Lihaniach Lahem Lifanav Navod Birav Avachad V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Mein Abraham El Ahut Ahut Adon Ashalom Mikadesh Ashabat Umborech Shevi Umeniach Bikdusho Le'amidu Shneo Neg Zecher Lemase Bereshit Zecher Lemase Bereshit. That is meant to be a synopsis of the Amidah that we just did. That way, if somebody was not entirely concentrating when doing the silent Amidah, they could read those two paragraphs and get at least a piece of credit for doing the Amidah. Eloheinu, this is page 48. Elohei Avoteinu, Ritzei V'Menuchatenu, Kadeshenu, V'Mitzvotecha, V'Tein Chelkenu, V'Toratecha, Sabenu, V'Tuvecha, V'Samchenu, V'Shuatecha, V'Taher Libeinu, V'Avdecha, V'Emet, V'Hanchilenu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'Ahava Uvratzon. Shabbat Kodshecha, V'Anuchuva Yisroel, V'Kadeshei Shemecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, V'Kadesh HaShabbat. Amen. The full Kaddish on page 48. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, amen. Yalmad yivrach irutei, v'yamliach malchutei, v'chayechon v'mechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv yimru, amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach, li'olam li'ol me'ol maya, yitbarach, Yitbarach v'yishabach, yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei l'kudashah, richu V'yelah min kol berchata v'shirata, u'shbachata v'nechmata, damiran bi'alma v'yimbru, amen. Titkabal tzloton, uva'uton, T'cho Yisrael, kadam avuhon, Tivishmaya v'yimbru, amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimbru, amen. Ose shalom bimroma, Uyase shalom aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, Imru, amen. Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yasa shalom, Yasa shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru amen. The Kiddush on page 49, charge your cups. Savri Mornan Vrabanan Vrabotai, Oru Chatoranai, Eloheinu Melech Olam, Ore Pri Hagafen, Amen. Oru Chatoranai, Eloheinu Melech Olam, Asher Kiddushanu Mitzvotav Ratzavanu, Shabbat Kodsho Biava, Uvratzon in Chilanu, Zikaron Maase Vereshit, Ki hu Yom Techila, Lemekroe Kodesh, Secher, Litziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu, Vacharta, Yotanu, Kidashta, Mikol Hamim, Shabbat Kodshecha, B'Yahava Uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch Atah Adonai, B'Kadesh HaShabbat, Amen. L'chaim, l'shalom, of simchas. All right. I think at this point, we're going to hear from our wonderful temple president, Rita Fleming Klein. Stewie, we have radio sound.
I got it. Okay, now how about now?
Great.
Yeah,
Excellent.
good Shabbos, everyone. Hi, Aunt Kathy. Good Shabbos. Wonderful to be with you. Such a lovely thing to begin the Shabbat with each and every one of you. Tomorrow, Rabbi's class after services and after a very nice lunch will be on. What will you?
Oh, my class. My class is going to be on Tales from My Father's Court, a series of stories which Isaac Bashevis Singer wrote in memory of his father's shtibel. His father was an unlicensed rabbi in Warsaw, but he got around it by having a minyan in his house, and he would meet with couples who needed counseling, and he would issue divorces and do brisses, all kinds of things. He was quite a guy. And the Rebbitzin was even more wonderful.
Malna Street.
Yes, Krachmalna Street. You just make a left at Marshall Pigorsky.
Yeah, that book was always part of our library, even all those years ago. I remember it very, very well. This week, we have all of our regular activities except for Mahjong on Thursday. That is canceled because our nursery school is having their graduation that day, and we're expecting a full house of adorable little children in graduation caps and gowns and their parents. So we had to postpone Mahjong for next week. This Thursday will be the first class for Kendra Anita's second round of the Haftorah class. That will be after the minyan and breakfast. And on Wednesday, Rabbi is going to have his 4 o'clock class and his 7 o'clock class. So we have lots to do. Now, next Saturday, we are celebrating Jack Bakelman's 95th birthday. And he is making Temple a special catered. Hi, Rachie. Hi, sweetheart. He is making Temple a special catered lunch for that great occasion. So I hope that as many of you as possible will be with us to celebrate Jack, who is such a loyal, incredible member of Temple, and no matter how not up to it he feels, somehow he's always there, and I really admire that. The following week on Thursday will be Shavuot, and please come. It's going to begin with the morning minyan at 8:45. And at that time, it will continue into the Shavuot service and then the Yizkor service to follow. It will be on Zoom for those of you who can't come in person. But for Yizkor especially, it's very important for everyone to be there. And then we'll be having a very special traditional dairy brunch, if you like, with all kinds of wonderful goodies. So please join us. Rabbi, did you want me to say something?
No, I'm just sitting here enjoying your
You
words.
signaled me, but I didn't know what it meant.
Oh, did I do this?
Yeah.
That's time out in the basketball game.
Oh, okay. Okay. Time out. Good job.
I was applauding. I was applauding.
He was applauding.
I was
Oh, you
applauding.
were applauding. Well, you know, I don't see that well.
It's all right. You're wonderful.
That's why I didn't become a basketball coach. Good Shabbos, everyone, and much
Oh,
love
that's-
to all of you.
Nice. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to do the counting of the Omer now. Tonight we count 39. 39. Okay, it's always nice when you look up these things in the Luach, in the schedule, and they do you a favor. They give you the number. This is page 55 at the bottom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Number 32. It's just charging along. Hayom shenayim u'shloshim yom shehem arba shavuot v'arba yamim la'omer. Wait a minute, it should be the 39th. Okay, let's try again. Hayom tisha shloshim yom shehem chamisha shavuot v'arba yamim la'omer. This is the 39th day of the Omer, comprising of 5 weeks and 4 days exactly. All right, that's very nice. Now let's do the Aleinu, which is back on page 51. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'atei gedula l'yaseh reshit shelo asanu higoye haratzot v'lo samanu mishpechot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem Bigor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim ubodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Notes Shamayim V'Yoser Haaretz U'Moshav Yikaro B'Shamayim Mimal U'Shchinatu Zo B'Gavei Miromim Hu Eloheinu Eod Bam Bam Efes Ulato Kakatu B'Torah Biadatayim Biadatayim V'Hashevota El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim B'Mal B'Al Haaretz B'Al Haaretz B'Tachat Einod V'Nemar Hayadon Melech Al Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Yeh Adonai Ushemo Echad Ushemo Echad. All please remain standing for the mourner's Kaddish in memory of those who made the ultimate sacrifice in this terribly tragic war. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Amen. Yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich machutei v'chayechon uv'yimechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach v'olam ulmeil maya Yitborach v'yishtabach v'yitpo'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu Li'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran bi'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Hoseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru Amen. All right, concluding with the Adon Olam. I also wanted to mention, for the good of the order, that tomorrow we are going to be Mevorachan HaChodesh. We're blessing the new month. The new month is Sivan, and it starts on Friday. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right. We're going to do This Old Man. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'et Nasa B'Chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shimo Nikra V'Acharei Kichlot HaKol Livado Yimloch Nora V'Hu Haya V'Hu Hoveh V'Hu Yeh B'Tifara V'Hu Echad V'Ein Sheni Lahamshilo Le'achbira Billy Reshit, the Tachlit, below Ha'oz V'Hamisra, V'Hu Eli, V'Chai Goali, V'Tzor Chavli, B'Yetzara, V'Hu Nisi, Manosli, Menat Kosi, B'Yomekra, B'Yado, Avkid Ruchi, V'Etishan, V'Yahira, V'Im Ruchi, Give V'Yati, Adonai Li. Please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord shine his face upon you and grant you peace. We'll say Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I want to thank Stewie for being a wonderful video macher. There you go.
You're welcome. And everybody can unmute for a little kibitz.
Yes.
And glad
Now
to see you all here.
Yes. Yes. Here we go. All right. Well,
Unkibit for a kibitz.
Yes.
unmuted.
Yes. Okay,
Is everyone unmuted?
I guess so. Yeah.
Let me see. We have to coach them along, I suppose.
Well,
Okay. Judy,
say something.
Judy,
After
Roseanne.
davened early when I was a kid. We davened at sunset. And then we would go home and first have dinner. And my mother went through her grapefruit period. I don't like grapefruit. It attacks you. It's the deadliest fruit known to people, really. And she had weapons for us to eat it with. They were little spoons, but
Oh,
they
yeah,
had
with the fork.
Little serrated
With the
spoons.
serrated-
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. But she did let me put sugar on. So yeah.
What
yeah.
about a red cherry
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
in the middle?
Yeah.
No cherry?
Yeah.
Maraschino cherry once in a while.
Yeah.
Great while. She figured we should rough it with the grapefruit. And then she went through her cantaloupe period, which I didn't like cantaloupe. And we went to honeydew melons.
That's
Honeydew
better.
melons were the best, really. They don't have, they're not vindictive. You know, they say,
He's
I'm
right.
here, eat me.
It's very funny that you say that, because my mom also served grapefruit as an entree, and I don't like grapefruit. And her other option was tomato juice, and I don't like tomato juice unless
Oh,
it's
yeah,
got
for
that
spice, yeah.
and
Yeah.
a piece of celery in it. Yeah, then it's not.
Oh, yes.
Too bad.
Very daring.
Had to have vodka and some pretty good spices in there too, in that tomato
Yes.
juice.
Whether it's a Virgin Mary or a Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary is, okay.
Yes, Bloody Mary. Very nice.
Did your mom serve at your dessert? Was it a canned fruit?
I would say, Ma, what's for dessert? She would say, fresh fruit. I would say, don't you have an old piece of cake? We had cake. We had mandel bread. It was in a loaf, and they put it in the slicer with the bread, like the bread. And then I would steal the biggest piece from the middle, and I would shove it together to hide a theft.
But eventually. it was very short.
Yes, pretty soon. And that had glacé cherries. And I would say, Ma, look, I'm eating fruit.
My
It's a-
parents.
Oh, and some
Yeah, I
strange
like it.
green fruit. What was
Yeah,
the
what
green?
was that? What was that green stuff?
I don't know.
Did
The same as the cherries, green cherries.
Oh,
Green
was it
cherry.
green
Oh.
They were green cherries.
They were
That's-
green cherries.
I never knew there were cherries.
We-
Food coloring makes it any
We
color
didn't
you
care.
want.
We ate food coloring and we liked it.
It was all,
We
Red
had, we
it was
had
all fake.
canned fruit, Rita, exactly what you said. And my
Right.
mother would say dessert is fruit cocktail.
Yeah,
That's
That's
right.
what
Sliced peaches.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and with the fruit cocktail, if you got a little piece of cherry, it was like
Exactly.
so lucky.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I got the cherry.
Yeah,
And you couldn't tell the difference between the peach
They
pieces
all
and the
tasted
pear
the same,
pieces. Yeah.
I still like fruit cocktail.
If you were lucky, you got Jello, you know,
Oh my God.
that was always a special.
Yeah, with the fruit cocktail, suspended
In it.
animation.
Or
Yes.
apricots instead of peaches sometimes. That
Oh,
was big.
big deal. Yeah. Wow.
My mom
Not the
did
dried
canned-
ones in a can.
and
Yeah.
my mom
Everything
did
was in a can.
canned plums were also a dessert.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I had veggiol. Did you ever hear of veggiol?
I had veggial.
They
Yes.
still make it. I have it right now in my cabinet, even though I don't eat anything out of a can.
Oh,
I have veggiel in my cabinet all the time because it reminds me of my mother. She would take it and mash it up, and
really?
I would and that's how I eat my vegetables. And I still
What's
always have a
vegetable?
can of it in my cabinet.
I
never know.
mean, it was mostly potato. That was my favorite vegetable. I never met a potato.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
I don't know from
I'm gonna
vegetables.
look for it.
I know that.
You don't know from vegetable?
No,
Never heard of it.
no, we never had that.
You should have a vegetable party at the shul.
Israelites, BYOC, bring your own cans.
All right, I've got to leave. Good
Okay.
job
Wait,
to everybody.
wait,
Judy.
Enjoy our talking.
Judy.
See?
Judy, there's
Yes.
your vegetables.
The-
Oh,
the
that, yeah, no, she never bought that.
deconstructed
You're
knish.
right. I've seen that, but I thought it was a mashed thing you're talking about. No, that she
No,
never
she
bought.
would mash it. She mashed it, my
beans?
mother.
String beans or peas,
Yes.
In a can are
separate.
horrible.
Everything was separate, yeah.
My sister told me that lima beans were stuffed with potato, and I believed her.
All right, everybody, have a
All
wonderful.
All
right,
right,
bye-bye.
thank you, Stuart.
Hi,
Bye.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.
Nice to
Good
see
Shabbos.
you.
Yes, tomorrow at the
Shabbos.
chapel.